Welcome back to my podcast, Fuck Society Standards, where I am teaching you to become your highest, baddest bitch self, because I want everybody to live their life and live how they want to live instead of just living how society tells you to. This is going to be one of my favorite episodes. I am talking to you guys about relationships. I am such a lover of love. I watch so many romantic movies, it's actually a little bit insane. I love love so much. I love talking about love. I love love. I don't know how many times I can say love in this. But I want to talk to you guys about relationships because I have been in 3, and let's just say they have all been so different. They have taught me so much about myself, and I think it's so important to learn about yourself before you get into the next relationship. In the last episode, I talked all about self-love. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go and watch it, because I find everything that I talk about in these series is going to come back to self-love. Because if you don't love yourself, if you don't think you're worthy of a healthy relationship, what you're putting out into the universe is what you're going to get back. If you don't look at yourself and love yourself and respect yourself and want the best for yourself, you're going to call in somebody who's also going to treat you like that. And as much as you don't want that to happen, as much as you don't sit there and purposely put out that energy is so strong and it's so powerful, and whatever you are putting out, you are going to receive. My biggest advice for anyone who is single right now is to stay single until you fully have healed and learned about yourself, so that when you get into the next relationship, you can go into it in a healthy position, healthy manner, and not bringing in unhealthy patterns or unhealthy baggage into your next relationship. I'm not going to talk too much around self-love in this episode because obviously I've already made a whole episode about that, so definitely go and check it out. But healthy relationships come from learning about who you are. Going within and realizing, what did I do good in my last relationship? What can I work on? There is always 2 parts to a story, and no, I'm not saying that it was okay you got cheated on, and no, I'm not saying that you deserved it, but at the end of the day, there are 2 parts to play in every situation. I want you to think about all the relationships, all the people you've talked to. How have they ended? How have they started? And what has happened throughout the relationship? Because that is going to tell you a lot about what it is you need to work on. It's going to teach you what kind of attachment style you have. Is it that you are codependent? Is it that you are anxious? Is it that you need validation? That is going to be really important for you to work on before your next relationship. How you were raised and how your parents displayed in their relationship is also going to be a factor. People can grow up thinking that abusive relationships, yelling at each other, screaming at each other, and being fine 5 minutes later is healthy because that is all they grew up watching. Or if you have a family who show affection and love and support each other, then that is how you're going to think love is. Or if you have a family who don't hug, don't touch, don't say I love you to each other, then that's going to be how you think love is. And it's really important that when you get into a new relationship, that you understand everybody has come from different backgrounds. Everybody is going to think that love is a different way, but that is where it is really important to work on yourself and make sure that you are coming from a healthy place. I don't want to bring my exes or relationships into this and talk badly about anyone, but for me, I will only share what I know and my experience, because I was not the easiest person to date, and there were multiple factors in this relationship, and I can openly say that I was not easy to date, and I was not a very nice person to my ex-partner. A lot of this came down to what I had seen growing up. A lot of this came down to thinking that yelling and screaming at each other was normal. I never understood when I would yell and scream at this person that I was actually really hurting him, and this was not healthy. This was not how love was supposed to be, and that was a huge wake-up call for me to really work on myself. Another big factor, which women I really want you to think about, is one thing that really affected me was the hormonal pill that I was on. I did not realize I was on it for 5 years, and I was so cranky, so moody, so angry when I was on the pill, and it did not hit me until I was told that around my period time I'm a literal monster, that it made me really think, oh my gosh, I should probably look at what I am ingesting into my body, and is that really the right way for me to have contraception or for me to actively look after my body? It wasn't until that I actually stopped and realized that what I was taking was harming me rather than helping me, that it really gave me a new perspective on life and how I treated people. My pill was making me so different to who I was at my heart, at my core, and once I stopped taking it, it was like a change overnight. I do know other women have said the same thing, and that is a really big factor that obviously not everybody is going to be affected by it, but this is something to be aware of, because if you're having problems and you're constantly feeling angry and you're constantly wanting to bite people's heads off, please look at what you're taking and ingesting in your body, because that can have a factor on your hormones. You are literally putting hormones into your body, and of course it's going to make you feel so many different ways, and the last thing I would want is for you to have a tumultuous relationship because of it. Another really big thing that I have learnt is communication. Now, before you roll your eyes and you tell me, oh, everyone says that, communication is honestly key. And the really big thing about being in a relationship is realizing that everyone is going to communicate differently. Again, this comes down to how you were raised. Were you raised in a household where you could openly tell people about your feelings? Could you openly tell your parents when something was wrong? Could you openly talk to your brothers, your sisters about everything that you were feeling? Or were you in a household that told you you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to have an emotion, you're not allowed to have feelings, like you were shut down for wanting to talk about how you felt? Because that is also going to be another factor that when you get into a relationship you have to also think about. Everyone is going to communicate differently, everyone is going to see life and want to be loved and want to receive love in a different way. I want you to actually learn and understand, how is it that you want to be treated? How is it that you want to communicate with someone? What works best for you? What do I need to work on so that when I get into a relationship, I can openly communicate? Is it that you need to learn how to talk to people? Is it that you need to learn how to open up? Is it that you need to learn how to trust your feelings more? If you need to learn how to trust your intuition more? Whatever it is, this is so important to help you to have a healthy relationship, because communication, if you cannot talk to your partner, if you cannot openly feel safe talking to your partner and it not ending in an argument or not ending in someone being mad at the other person, that's not going to work out in the future. You have to learn how to have patience. You have to learn how to create a safe place, and when you do want to talk to your partner about something, you're not going into it accusing them. You're not going into it telling them that they're the problem, and that you can talk to them in a way that makes them feel understood. You have an opinion and you want to get it across to them, but it's not putting them in a position where they now want to be backed up and go, whoa, hold on, why are you accusing me of feeling that way? I haven't done that to you. That kind of thing. A really good lesson that my mum has always taught me and always drilled into my head is that nobody can make you feel anything. You are in control of your emotions, and you are in control of how somebody makes you feel. So when you want to talk to someone, you never go into a conversation going, you make me feel like this, you are the worst person, you, but instead you want to go into the conversation feeling in control of your emotions. Never have a chat when you are at the height, at the peak of your emotions. You don't want to go into it when you're angry and you're stirred up and you haven't had time to really think. I want you to sit on it, acknowledge it, think about it, potentially wait a night. If you can't, then give it a few hours and then go into the conversation, so that you can really be in control and say, I feel like this. Not you make me feel like this. I feel like this because X, Y, and Z. At the end of the day, in a relationship, you guys are a team, and you want to be able to be in a position where you can go into it being a team. You don't want to go into a relationship where it's going to be you against them, or you against their family, or you against their friends. You want to go into a relationship when you both can be in a position where it's you and you against the problem, you and them against the problem, you and them against the family, you and them against their friends. You can stand up for each other, you can support each other, you can be in a position to support each other's goals and dreams and desires because you want to make it work with them and you want to be there for them. Just because you start out in a relationship, you should never ever stop dating each other. And I know people have mentioned this before, but you should never stop going on dates. You should never stop flirting. You should never stop doing nice things for each other just because you want the other person to feel good. And a good way to learn how to do this is acknowledging how the other person and yourself wants to be loved. Whether you already know what your love language is or maybe you don't, there are tests online that you can do, but it is so important to understand, how do I want to be loved? How do I want to be loved? Love languages are so crucial because if you are somebody that loves words of affirmation, that is how you receive love. You want the love letters, you want someone to tell you you're beautiful, but your partner is the opposite and he likes to receive, or she likes to receive, acts of service. Your partner might be thinking, oh well, I've done the washing today, I've helped with the dishes, I've done all these things, and she's still not happy. Why is she not happy? It's because that's not how you receive love. As much as I'm sure you're grateful, in order for you to feel loved, you want to be told you're beautiful. You want to be told how pretty you look today and how loved you are and how thanked you are for what you did. And they need to be aware of that. This will help you with so many arguments because a lot of the time it comes down to miscommunication. It comes down to you wanting to be loved in a certain way and them thinking, oh, well, I'm doing all these things, when really they're not hitting what it is that you want to receive. And same for your partner. Your partner also has to feel loved and wanted and desired in whatever way that works for them. Relationships are not easy. They are not something to take lightly, and they are certainly not for somebody to go into when you are unhealed. You don't feel like you are completely ready. You're not going to give it all that it takes in order to keep the relationship going, because it does. Love does require work. Even if you're with the right person, even if you are literally made for each other, you're still going to have times and days where you don't see eye to eye, where you don't feel completely full of love for each other. There are going to be times and periods where you aren't on the same page, where you might be feeling out of love for each other, and those are the times especially where you have to keep going and have to keep pushing in order to make it work. Because there's so many people out there these days who, the minute it gets hard, just go, I can't do this anymore. It's not worth it. I don't want to keep fighting. I don't want to keep having these arguments. I don't want to keep going round and round in circles. Love is so worth it. And please take away from this that even if you have gone through a lot with relationships, you've been cheated on, you've had your heart broken, like, please don't give up on love, because love is so right and it is so important and it is so beautiful, and relationships can really be so much fun. And I just really hope that you can take away from this to heal yourself, love yourself, put yourself first, and put yourself in a healthy position so that when you are ready for your next relationship, you can go in with such a different mindset and such healthy habits and with so much love and respect for yourself that somebody coming in is just going to enhance it, and they're not going to be your whole world. You can have your life outside of them. You can be independent. You can put yourself first. You can continue to date yourself as well as have a partner, and you can also just communicate and love in such a healthy way. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Don't take from this that you have to be completely healed before your new relationship, but it's just about getting yourself ready to deal with all these things that come up in a relationship. Deal with the communication, deal with the bumps in the road where you are falling out of love with each other. I really hope this helps someone. I love you guys so much. I just want you all to find your person and to have the most amazing relationship, because you are all so deserving, so worthy, and it will happen exactly at the right time. Don't go around thinking, oh, is today the day I meet my person? I've done my healing, I'm ready now. Like, that's amazing, and God knows the right time to bring that person in for you, and it will happen, and it will be better than you could ever expect. I hope this helps someone. I love you guys so much. Please subscribe, as I will continue to bring out new podcasts every week. And again, don't blame my setup for right now. We will get a better setup eventually. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day and stay blessed.